Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Manchester Derby preview. Today, we're going to be talking about how we think this game is going to go. We're going to give a scoreline prediction. We're going to give you maybe some betting advice as well, and all that good stuff. Currently, Manchester City flying high, breaking records with the number of wins they're getting in a row, and Manchester United seemingly unable to score a goal. How do you think this is going to go, George, Mr. Man City?
Well, I understand where people would be saying, it's going to be a draw, big six, United, whatever. I don't care. City are gonna bomb them, and that's that. Okay, I don't think United's team are up to the standard of City at the moment, and we're too solid defensively. So United won't score, I think, and then City might score like 2 or 3 maybe, because United's defense is dog wank. So that would be my prediction.
Honestly, Chief, you guys are not solid enough for Connor Cody's heroics.
Bro, can I just say? He's flexing on you when he lost 4-1. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. That was a
I was
little,
happy.
I won't lie, that was a little shit. Man U
word.
Man U is like, I know they're bad, but we've all seen that when Man U want to win, and when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has his back up against the wall, everyone's saying, Man U can't do it. He turns into prime Sir Alex, dude. He just starts banging out wins.
Look, that monologue was a load of biased shit talk. Okay? But if I'm not being biased on a Manchester derby, then what am I? Okay?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. When we do the Spurs Arsenal one, I'll be fairly biased. Yeah, no, I get it. But in terms of how we actually think it's going to go, I think I said this to you the last time you played them. This scoreline, it has this scoreline written all over it, dude. 0-0.
Oh, yeah.
It happens every time Man U play someone big. They're going to stink the place out. And I honestly think Man U are favorites. I know that the odds, and I know everyone is saying, like, I know everyone's saying City and whatever, but when we get to the betting section, I'm putting my money for Man United because I think... Okay.
Say goodbye to your €2 McDonald's cheeseburger.
Man City are good, and I get that they're defensively solid, and I get all that kind of stuff. But when Marcus Rashford, when Bruno Fernandes, when all these players are actually like ours to do anything and earn their paycheck, they're good, and they turn up. We saw it in the we saw it in the Champions League with PSG. With the seasons past, we saw it when they played the Big Six this year. They lose to the small teams. They don't lose to the big teams. So I think
if they beat City, I give you guys full reign to dig into me for the rest of the season.
No.
But
I'm about to end your career in one sentence, bro. Everybody, look at the screen right here.
Yeah.
Anthony Martial knock continues to be monitored. If Martial is not playing, shit's good, bro.
For United.
You don't need him.
No,
dude,
I think the best thing on the screen is Donny van de Beek will be assessed. Who gives a shit, dude? He never plays.
What about Phil Jones, the GOAT? He's ruled out.
I don't see any... Nathan Ake might be... he hasn't played in months. Who cares? So, basically, we have a full team. Pep can do whatever he wants. He's going to set it up nice and saucy. The main boys coming into the box against Lindelof and Fridge. And, I think it's going to be quite a tasty game for City.
But you know what, Chief? Well, when United are playing for a reason, when they can see a title, when they can see something, they play different and they play good.
Yeah.
I think right here they see the pride. This is a Manchester derby.
Mm-hmm.
United don't give up that easy. And I mean, sure, against the Big Six, they've been ass. But this game, they're like, well, the league's lost. That's obvious. However, this is the Manchester derby. They're going to give it their all. I don't see this being like, yeah, they drew 0-0 last time, but back then United was still in the title race. They're realistically still in the title race. Now they are not. They've got nothing to play except for pride.
I can see and accept your points.
No,
they are sort of like passion merchants in the sense that...
our points. He's just saying he doesn't care.
I'm accepting your points.
What I will say is that when Man United have to try and take the game to someone, they have to go out and attack them. They're not as good because they're not a well-drilled team. They're not a team like Man City that had the exact like Man City. If you look at how they pass the same way every game, the same triangles, the same kind of tactics. Every player knows exactly where to be. Man United reminds me kind of. Do you know what? Do you remember when Jose Mourinho was managing Real, and he basically just said to the forwards, "Do whatever you want. Just kind of go out there and win me the game." Like he didn't tell Ronaldo, "You have to be here and you have to when you get this ball in this area, slide it through to him." He just said to Ronaldo, "Go do what you need to do." This Man United team going forward reminds me of that. They score fantastic goals and they score, Bruno bangers and all that kind of stuff. They're never the same goals, which I think will help them in this game because
Yeah.
that kind of sense of unpredictability will be helpful with players like Marcus Rashford, who I don't think are quite good, but always turn up in the big games. So
Besides, Cody has shattered their spirits.
Cody shattered their spirits with that one header. In terms of how Man United their players are playing, obviously Bruno's nuts because he has 25 goal involvements in 26 games, so he's nuts. Marcus Rashford's actually kind of had a under the radar season. Wan-Bissaka will be pretty important, I think, on the right side, shutting down Sterling because he's defensively solid as well.
Honestly, I think Luke Shaw is going to get exposed in this one, especially going forwards. So I don't think he's that good going forwards. People are giving him a lot of credit recently, but still, I don't see him being able to beat Best, Cancelo's, Walker, whoever's there. I just don't. I can't see
I
it.
think
It could be hard to
Guardiola
expose.
will probably play Mahrez as he's in form,
Oh yeah.
and I don't think Luke Shaw
Think
can
KDB
keep up
starting?
with his. You know what? I'm gonna make a statement. I think we'd be better off benching De
Without,
Bruyne for this
I
game.
was about to say the same. Yeah,
I think Gundogan plays a much better role at the moment than De Bruyne. I think De
with
Bruyne is just
Bernardo
not on
Silva.
his game.
I think
Yeah,
that's the best lineup.
I really like Bernardo Silva and Gundogan together.
You know,
That's a big statement, boys. I think KDB could be so impactful in this game. I've
Man,
seen how many
he
times
hasn't proved himself the last few games. He's kind of like,
it's
you
this
know,
for me. It's the same thing as the Mo Salah thing. Everyone's saying he's having a shit season. He has 14 goal involvements in 19 games, and he plays center mid.
all right, maybe I'm being a bit harsh, okay?
Yeah,
But for all the praise I can throw City, I have to criticize something.
yeah.
So De Bruyne, we can all agree he's not as good as he was last season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Gundogan for me has been a lot better than him this season. I know he was out with injury and all that shit, but yeah.
I absolutely think Gunnaga can break down this those two center backs. You know how he likes to get in,
Get
make a
in.
nice run, sort of
He
like a
gets to the
striker.
left
Yeah,
side of the box.
I can
Yeah.
absolutely see that. Whereas De Bruyne, well, he doesn't do that, but I mean that's fine. De Bruyne's got much other qualities, but I think Gunnagan's sort of like unpredictability and the fact that he can kind of play a striker would be nice in this game. And Bernardo Silva, he's got the highest stat for ball carrying midfielder, something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's important too. Those two paired up, I think, could cut us a lot of havoc. Whereas, yeah, De Bruyne's got his strengths, but maybe he'll be better off as a sub. I don't know if
Maybe.
Guardiola will see it that way. I mean, he knows best, right?
I
But
don't.
we'll
De
see.
Bruyne with this whole system that Pep's running at the moment, where sometimes Jesus kind of falls back into the midfield and maybe Gundogan and Bernardo Silva get forward into the box. I don't think De Bruyne suits that role as he drops into centre forward. I don't think De Bruyne is suited to that kind of striker system that Pep Guardiola has come up with. I think he's better off staying back in the midfield and letting the other guys. He just plays the ball forward to whoever wants to get forward, and then
I think the issue for City will be that I'm 100% confident the two midfielders are going to be McFred. So Scott McTominay and Fred, and they will just McFred, yeah. So I think that's going to be really hard to break down. I know that neither of them are particularly like exceptional, but when they play together, they kind of work as a solid shield. And I know that maybe the Man United's defense has something to desire, but I don't think that City are going to have much love going through the middle this game. I think this is why I think KDB could be useful, because KDB doesn't go through the middle. He kind of drifts off to the right and whips the ball around, and that could be super useful this game.
I get your point.
Yeah. In terms of the odds, the reason that I was hyping Man U up so much as well is they're 11-2. Those are really good odds for a team that, in my opinion, the game could go either way. as you can see, I've clicked draw here because I think it's going to be a 0-0 draw, and I mean the odds for a 0-0 draw 12-1, which I think is ridiculous. But yeah, I think I would never bet on City in this situation because the odds are so
Yeah.
poor. So I think for me, the safest is probably the draw or the Man United win. I've gone with a 0-0. I think it's a bit risky because goals can happen from anywhere, but I'm kind of willing to take that risk. In terms of
So wait, just scroll up a second.
yep.
So if you do firmly believe that City will win, these scoreline predictions, especially the 1-0, 2-0, these low scoring games,
Mm-hmm.
are still fair shots. I mean, you got 6-1 odds. It's still an okay shout if you do really believe that City will win and you don't buy into the hype that we're giving United here.
Yeah, agreed. The power prices in this are kind of okay. They're okay. I think Raheem Sterling to score first. Odds is 5-1, so they're good odds, but I think it's still a bit risky. It's
Yeah.
He's on form, I think.
He is on form, but the issue with City is everyone scores. It's not like City are like a collective team. De Bruyne can score, Gundogan can score, Foden can score, Mahrez can score. Like everyone scores, so it's not like they're feeding Sterling. Do you get me? So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of risky. Marcus Rashford to have 2 or more shots on target, I think is okay. I think the odds are really good. So I could.
Also, I want to say Jesus against Wolves a few days ago. He had a lot of good chances, but Patricio was on top of his game in that one. And I think, well, Dean Henderson will be playing for United as De Gea is out.
Yeah.
So I could easily see it being a more traditional striker scoring because I don't know if Sterling will be able to get that many chances into a like not organized defense, but we got Fred McTominay
Yeah.
and decent fullbacks. I don't see Sterling getting the first goal. Actually, I would put my money on Jesus if it was here, but
Yeah. Agreed. KDB and Bruno Fernandes to have 1 or more shot on target from outside the box. I actually really like this one. I didn't like it.
That's a good one.
I didn't like it so much until I saw this. KDB on average has 3.3 shots per game. And we know that KDB likes to hit long shots. Bruno Fernandes shoots from everywhere. So he has 3.1 as well. I think
That's a very good bet to bet on.
I agree. For both players having over 3 shots per game and all you need is 1. I know they're both outside the box, but I think that Man U will be defending deep, so I think KDB will take a long shot, and I think Bruno always shoots. So I think that's really, really good. KDB to score and assist a goal for me too specific. I know the odds are really good, but far too specific for me.
I think that's the thing. It's insanity.
Especially since that you two think that it'd actually be better for KDB not to play. Guardiola might agree, and that might mess everything up.
Also,
Edison to Cavani to score a header. Love this. 20-1 odds are so good. 20-1 odds are
yeah.
stupid.
And City center backs are not the best in the air. That is the one of the few areas where people have been critical of Diaz and maybe Stones to a lesser extent, but regardless, yeah, Stones too. In the air. 20-1, great shot.
Great shout.
Absolutely.
We did have a look at some of these, the 80-1 odds and all these odds, but they're
Also, just to add, with Martial being injured, the chance that Cavani actually does play is a lot higher.
Yeah.
You know,
there is a small chance that he puts Mason Greenwood up front. I know he did that against
please don't.
the last time they played someone big, not the Crystal Palace game, the one before that, the Chelsea game. Mason Greenwood played up front instead, but I think he'll go with Cavani this time, and I think that's a great shout. The rest of the odds, like the really high ones, are really, really specific. I mean, we can take a look at them, but I wouldn't go near any of these.
Yeah, there's not many, and they're all pretty crazy.
They're all pretty crazy.
Rely a lot on very intense game, like a lot of corners, a lot of goals, things like this. And
Yep.
well, while we said United will come into it with a lot more explosivity, passion, as they haven't in the last few against the big six, these are still quite crazy. I mean, 4+ corners in each half, things like this. Very unlikely. I think it's a bit crazy, though. It is 500-1. If you feel like this will be that spicy,
Yeah,
then sure, you could look into that. But
I agree. I
you
think
know,
I think if I wasn't so confident this was going to be a 0-0, I'd probably put money on this one. I actually go with the power prices this time. I'd probably go with this one and this one here. The Edison Cavani to score a header and these two to have a shot outside the box. I think those are really good. But I'm going to be going with the draw, and as my bet is saying, I'm predicting a 0-0. So what are you going with, George?
Yeah, as I said, we're playing very well defensively. We're tough to break down at the moment. Whatever about Cody, don't say it. I
Well, that
think
highlights their weakness in the air that I was
we'll
just talking about.
we'll
Turns
score
me out.
two. I think 2-0 City.
2-0. Okay. Just
Well,
so we can reference, that's a 6-1 odd. What are you going with?
see, if I was a betting man, like if I was on your page right now, I'd put the 2-0 to United. You got 33 to 1 odds right there. And well, I don't think it's that likely. I could see United playing a blinder, as they sometimes tend to do when their backs are against the wall, when Ole's about to get sacked, things like this.
Mm,
But as a general prediction, I think it might actually be a 1-1, though I slightly edge United. But yes, a 1-1.
a 1-1. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. That was our big Manchester Derby preview. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.